Hi, Nicole Vesper here with Remax Big Bear, and I am at this adorable historic cabin in Big Bear Lake. This was built in 1920, and these homes are actually very common in Big Bear Lake, as well as Fawnskin, which is across the lake. And they are commonly known as a government lease cabin. The appropriate term is a recreational residence. And these are a little different from a traditional single family residence. And I wanted to go over some of the details, some of the differences, what you can expect if you're thinking of buying a government lease or recreational residence. But first I wanted to talk a little bit about seller financing. If you want to skip ahead to the tour, I have chapters in the description box below the video. But this actual cabin, I helped the buyer purchase using seller financing. And online, I'm a Zillow preferred agent, and on Zillow, they have ways to search for homes available with seller financing or owner financing. And so I get calls and inquiries online a lot about what is seller financing? Why would a homeowner offer it? Why would a buyer want that option? And so I want to go over some details if you're thinking of purchasing a home and you've come across the terms seller financing or owner financing and you're not quite sure what it means. I'm going to give you the absolute truth. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So first, why would a homeowner want to offer seller financing? Well, in this case, this home is a cash-only purchase. All recreational residences are cash-only purchases. So there was no mortgage to pay off. And also with government lease properties, you do not own the land. And so it keeps the price point a little lower. For example, this cabin was a little under $210,000. So that's a little bit of a manageable amount for a homeowner to carry that balance for maybe 5 years or 8 years. So for a homeowner, it can open up a pool of buyers that maybe are a little more restricted. My buyer chose to do the seller financing option because he had a lot of cash, but not quite enough. And so he was able to offer a very sizable down payment. Some owner financing require up to like 50% down payment. And so my buyer was able to offer a very large down payment. Now, because you're not going through a bank and because you're not going through a large company who does this for a living and maybe has thousands of properties that can offset the loss of an individual property, because you're dealing with an individual who doesn't have those luxuries, usually they do require stricter guidelines, stricter requirements to qualify. So if you're a buyer and you're thinking of seller financing as an alternative option if you don't qualify for a traditional mortgage, it probably isn't going to be the best option for you. And because the homeowner is just an individual who couldn't offset if you default on your agreement, they're a little more strict in who they decide to work with. Sometimes you have family members or people that you know, and you can work out an agreement in that way. But if you're looking at two individuals that don't know each other, you definitely need a really great agent to draw up the legal paperwork, but also expect to have higher guidelines to qualify. For example, a traditional conventional mortgage only requires about 20% down. Seller financing is going to require anywhere from like 25 to 50, maybe even more. It's just an individual person that is setting these guidelines. Also, that homeowner really wants you to have excellent credit. Any type of derogatory remarks on your credit would probably deter an individual from making an agreement with you. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in seller financing, you're going to need a huge down payment, way bigger than what a bank is going to require. You're also going to need exceptional credit. Usually the homeowner will ask you to pull a credit report, usually from all three bureaus, so that they get a full picture of your credit history, and they really will go through it. And so if you're thinking of seller financing, make sure that you are qualified and you don't have the wrong impression, because it's not a program designed for people who are not qualified for a traditional mortgage. So now that I've schooled you, you've got your little real estate education. Now let's get into the tour for this adorable historic cabin. This map is great if you're shopping for a home in Big Bear. They hand them out for free at any of the RE/MAX locations. There's 3 locations in Big Bear, and it's very detailed. It has all the popular street names. It also has an index of street names. So if you're looking online for available homes to buy, this is a great way to really find the exact location. The cabin we're at today is over here on Mill Creek Road, and all of this area here is protected National Forest land. And so this is where our cabin is. This is the neighborhood we're at. So we are here at Historic Cabin 107 on Mill Creek Road. This is what is commonly called a government lease cabin. The correct term is actually a recreational residence. These historic cabins are on protected land. It's actually literally in the middle of the San Bernardino National Forest. They do have amenities like electric. You'll get power, you have neighbors. But these properties are so unique, and this little cabin was such a little gem. I thought it would be great to have a tour. As I mentioned, it was built in 1920. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It has 732 square feet for the home. With these recreational residents, you do not own the land. So you don't have to pay property tax on the land, but you do pay annual licensing to the San Bernardino National Forest. So this is your cabin. You're responsible for maintaining the yard for about, I think it's like 30 feet from the cabin. And I'll go over some of the requirements and cleanup that we had to do prior to closing. This is your driveway from the street. As you saw from my little clip coming up, the streets are not maintained. They actually don't even have a traditional address. So you don't get mail delivery, you don't get trash pickup. and there is no plow service provided by the city. However, we have local companies that will come and plow your road in the winter time. So the roads are not really maintained very well through the city. The neighborhoods usually just pool their money. You get along well with your neighbors. It's a unique experience up here, so you do get to know your neighbors. But they kind of just pool their money and organize plowing service or any kind of maintenance that will need to be done. So this is the driveway. We'll head up here. I actually parked at the neighbors. I don't think they're home right now, but I wanted to show you the driveway and parking. So you come up here to your driveway. This is what's called a shared driveway. So your neighbor also uses this drive. So you can't park here. You can't block it. But this is the neighbor's parking. And then your parking is right here. So you come up the driveway, you turn by this big tree, and this is your private parking. It actually is really long. If you had, a boat or something like that, we're very close to the lake. You can kind of see little peekaboo views. We can see a better view inside, but if you have toys you want to bring with you, there is parking. As far as getting up the road, do that at your own risk. But there's plenty of space to park once you're here. This cabin also has a cute little stone stairway from the drive. So some of the National Forest requirements for closing on these cabins: firewood cannot be stacked against your home. It has to be moved away from the home. It was actually stacked here on the porch. They asked us to move it. All pine needles and debris have to be cleared within about 30 feet of your home. Again, as I mentioned, you don't own the land, but you are responsible for maintaining it. These homes are connected to the electric company. However, they are on propane tanks and water holding tanks, as well as septic. So up here, you climb these little rocks. There's no pathway. You're in the middle of the forest. And that big green tub is your water holding tank. Big Bear has a lot of properties like this. So there's actually local services that will come out and fill your water tank, either on a schedule, or I think there's some sort of monitoring valve. When it gets to a certain level, they come and fill it automatically. So that's where your water comes from for your cabin. This is also part of your little cabin. And I wonder if anyone knows what this might be. It is an outhouse. It's the original bathroom. It's now being used as storage, but part of these historic cabins, you get these cute little features. Down here is the propane tank. So again, the local propane company will come out and fill your propane tank so you have heat in the winter. I believe the septic tank is somewhere over here. It's pretty flat on that side, so I think that's where the septic tank is. We did get a septic inspection, so that's something you'll need to be aware of when you buy these cabins. You want to know the condition of the septic tank. That could be very expensive. So this is the back of the house. Upstairs is the bedroom, and it has that really cool door out onto the roof. I don't know what the buyer's going to do with that space. It has stairs leading up to it. It's a usable space. I wonder if he's gonna put maybe a seating area or something. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to hang out on your roof. And you may see these doors a lot here in Big Bear. These are for bears, not burglars. Also, this door and the front door are glass, so a bear could easily get through there. So that's what those bars are for. I'll walk over here to this side of the house. This is a covered patio. I'll show you that in a moment. We had to clear all of the pine needles and leaves and any type of branches and debris from the home. You can kind of see where the property's been maintained and where the forest starts. If you skipped my first part of this video talking about seller financing options, then you missed some of the details about buying these cabins. These are cash-only purchases. Because you don't own the land, they don't qualify for traditional financing or mortgages. But because you don't own the land, it usually keeps the price a little lower. This cabin was purchased for a little under $210,000 using seller financing. Go back to the beginning of this video if you want some more details about that. This big deck off to the side here was an add-on, an additional structure. You can build onto these cabins. They require an approval through the National Forest for any plans that you have. Also, you are restricted with paint colors. You don't have to use these colors, but you are restricted to stay within kind of nature colors, greens, browns, things like that. Prior to closing, there was an additional inspection from the National Forest Service, and they required us to move the barbecue, the grill, and the outdoor patio furniture off the patio. It cannot be stored. So if you are purchasing a government lease property, keep that in mind. Outdoor furniture is not supposed to be stored. So this is the front door. Again, this is for bears, not burglars. And this beautiful glass door. So this cabin has been owned by the same couple for several years. They've maintained it really, really well. Sometimes these cabins, when they're closed up here in the forest, maybe for even a couple years at a time, there's deferred maintenance, but this home was in wonderful condition. Sorry about the smoke alarm. We need new batteries. We did have to bring, there's a smoker and a grill. We had to bring those inside in order for the National Forest to clear our inspection. Anytime you do a National Forest purchase, you have to go through a separate inspection as well as an interview with a forest ranger. Beautiful views. Right through here is the lake. You can see it better in person, not so well on the camera. These floors, I believe, are original. And anyone that knows anything about construction, these wide plank floors, just for reference, you can see my little feet here. These really wide planks are non-existent now. So this is a really cool feature of a historic home. The floors are original. The wood paneled walls are knotty pine. I don't know if they're original or if it's in really good quality, really good condition, so maybe it's been updated. They added this cute little barn door for the bathroom. This is the only bathroom in the home. It's kind of unique. The tub is a trough, which is kind of a unique design, but very, very functional. And this little cabinet here was added by the homeowner, but it's so narrow, it fits perfectly in that space for extra storage. Over here, the kitchen. I love this bar top. It's really beautiful, raw edge. This isn't live edge, I forget what they call this, but really beautiful wood here. This stove is antique from 1930s. It still works. It's in wonderful condition. The homeowner or the seller, his wife is an avid baker, and he said that she used this oven all the time and her baked goods came out delicious. So the kitchen has been updated. As you can see, the countertops are really nice. They did take the cabinet doors off. I don't know if that was just for function, but they added these really cool little sliding racks. Over here on this side, you can see they still have the original cabinet doors. Maybe the other ones were not in such good condition, but these cute little historic cabins, you know, things fail, break. Through here, they added a washer and dryer. That is so hard to find in these cabins. So we were really excited to see a nice new washer and dryer hiding out in here. Also extra storage. They have a little wine cooler in there. Very nice to have extra storage. I love the vaulted ceiling here in the kitchen too. So now we'll head upstairs. Vaulted ceilings up here. The owner added this cute little wardrobe, just a makeshift closet. Extra storage is great. There's also storage here, which I don't know how functional it is, but it's space. And also you notice the floorboards, these historic homes. Yes, you can see directly downstairs. And yes, people downstairs can see directly up. But it's part of the charm of Big Bear cabins. So nice view out front. And then this was that back door that opens up to the roof. Again, these are for bears, not for burglars. I don't think Big Bear even has burglars. So this is a historic Big Bear Lake cabin. If you're interested in purchasing one of these recreational residences, give me a call. I'm happy to help.